Hey everybody, hope you're having a great Thanksgiving week. Today we're going to be covering all of the best fitness tech deals that I could find for Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all of the deals pretty much this week. And I'm going to be covering them in sort of a tier ranking system. All of the deals that I have today are what I consider good deals. So I kind of left out some of the really bad deals or the products that I don't think are really worth considering. But all of the stuff here, I sort of wanted to rank in terms of, how good the deal is, as well as how good the equipment is for that price, and also kind of considering how often whatever that piece of equipment goes on sale. So we'll be considering all of that as we sort of rank these deals this week. So we're going to go ahead and start with the Hydrow Rower. The Hydrow Rower is $500 off, so just under $2,000. And the Hydrow Rower is like one of my favorite rowers to use. It's very good. I like the membership as well. If you don't want to be stuck within a membership, well, then you might not want it because you can't access most of the programs without it. But it is one of the best rowers available. And under $2,000 is a pretty good deal. I don't think it very often goes under that $2,000 mark. So I'm definitely going to put it as a very good deal to consider and under the A group. They also have the Hydrow Wave, which is a slightly less pricey version of the rower. And all things considering, they feel pretty close to the same. I do slightly prefer the more expensive model, but the Hydrow Wave is $450 off, which makes it just under $1,500. So it's about $400 or $500 less than the more expensive model. So again, this is a price that is very good for it, and I think also is definitely in the upper tier of deals on this list. Now, also with rowers, we have the Aviron Strong series, which is their newest model and their best model. That is $200 off, and it's also under $2,000 at $1,999. So sort of equivalent with the Hydrow, I think. It just depends on what you prefer more. If you prefer to follow a coach, you want to get the Hydrow. If you prefer more of like a game approach, then you'll probably want to go with Aviron. The Aviron deal, however, is not as big of a discount at just $200 off. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the B category for now. The Aviron Impact series, though, and that's their lower price model of their rower. That one is $400 off, and that is under $1,500, and that's a bigger deal, and I don't think I've seen it at that price very often. So in terms of rowers, I like the Aviron Strong better, but in terms of the actual deal itself, I'm going to put the Aviron, I always mispronounce it, into the A category with the other Hydrows. Also with rowers, we got to consider the Ergatta, which is another gamified rower. This is also $500 off at $1,999. So all these top line rowers are on sale for just under $2,000. Again, I would put that with the rest of them in the A category. This is a deal that we don't see too often fall under that $2,000 price point, and it's a very nice rower. It looks really nice, especially. So we'll put it in that A category. Then we have also from Ergatta their brand new rower, the Ergatta LITE, at $1,499, which is essentially the same as the regular Ergatta. It's just made with cheaper wood, which is lighter and it's smaller, easier to move. It doesn't look quite as nice, but it's also $500 cheaper. The discount is only $300 off, and it's brand new, so I don't know if this is going to be its regular price or if this is a truly discounted price. So for that reasons, I'm going to put it into the B category. Now, another piece of equipment that I just reviewed brand new is the STEPR. So this is a connected fitness stair climbing machine. And the current deal for this, so regular priced is $4,999. The Black Friday deal is $500 off plus free 5-year protection plan. So it's a $900 total discount. And that's a pretty good price because I do know for a fact that $5,000 is going to be the regular price for this. It's a very good machine. It's easily the best home fitness stair climb machine. yeah, it's expensive at that price, but if you look at any of the other kind of similar devices as this, they're all more expensive. So this is nicer than most and a better price than most. The deal's also pretty good. $500 off plus that 5-year protection plan, which is a really good idea to get on any piece of equipment like this. Is a really good deal. So I'm going to put this in the S category. I think this is one of the best deals that I've seen for Black Friday. Now let's get into Peloton. So the regular Peloton bike is on sale. You can get it at Peloton or on Amazon. It is $350 off, so it's $1,095 total. It goes on this discount a lot, like many times throughout the year. On top of that, there's so many Peloton bikes used that have barely been used as well that you could find very easily. So I'm going to put it in the C category just because it goes on sale at this price all of the time. Same thing for the Peloton Bike Plus. It's just under $2,000, so it is about $500 off the price. This is obviously a better deal, but it is discounted at this price fairly regularly. Like every few months, you'll find it at this price. So if you don't want to get it this time, it'll be on sale again probably very soon. The Peloton Guide, however, this is the cheapest it's ever been. It's $100 off of its newly discounted price, so it's only $95 total. Now, the Peloton Guide is essentially just kind of like a camera you can attach to your TV, and you can see yourself on the TV alongside the class that you're taking. I don't really like the device itself. I don't think it adds a whole lot of value than what you would take with just like streaming Peloton through just a regular app on the TV or through your phone or on a device. But at $95, that's a pretty good deal. And I've never seen it at this price before, and we may even never see it again at this price. Who knows or how often it will be. So I'll put it in the B category just because it is, such a good deal. Then let's go ahead and talk about the Peloton Rower. So the Peloton Rower is by far the most expensive rower ever made, pretty much for home use. And it's not really that much better, if better at all, than some of the other top rowers. If you really like Peloton, then it's the rower to get. But outside of that, I don't see many people, or I don't suggest looking at the Peloton Row, especially since there has been some issues with it kind of maybe not being well made. Like there's some sounds that are starting to come from it that are sort of strange for people who've had it for more than a few months. That said, it's $200 off, so it's $2,745. It is the lowest price I've ever seen it at, but it's still so expensive, and I still would put it at the bottom of the list. So it's going to go into the D category. The Peloton Tread, I do like the Peloton Tread. It's really nice. Again, it's a little expensive for what it is, but it has been going lower in price recently, and this new discount, $2,695, is $300 off the regular price. I think it's definitely worth considering it. I would put it in the B category just because the equipment is so nice, and it hasn't been this price in a long time, at least since they raised all of their prices up about a year and a half ago. Moving on, let's talk about NordicTrack. So NordicTrack has a few treadmills on sale, one of which is the NordicTrack 2450, and that's one of their best treadmills. And it cost $2,799, which is $200 off. So not a great discount. It is a good treadmill, but not a great discount. So we're going to put that sort of in the D category. And then the NordicTrack 1750 treadmill is essentially the same one, but it has a much smaller screen, and it costs $2,199. So $600 less. It's $300 off its typical price. This is much more reasonable and a bigger discount. So I'm going to put this one, it's between B and C, maybe the top of C. And then we have the NordicTrack S27i bike. So it's sort of like a Peloton bike, but it's just more focused on outdoors. It has auto incline and decline, so you can kind of feel like you're going up and down hills as you see them. It's a really nice bike. I have this bike. The screen is huge at 27 inches. It might be bigger than it needs to be. The discount for this is $200 off, so it's $2,299. So not really the best deal, especially considering that the Peloton Bike Plus is $300 cheaper than this. So I'm going to put it in the I'm going to put it in the D category only because it's not that great a deal just yet. So Echelon has the Stryd 5S treadmill on sale. It is $1,000 off. So it's $1,599. So it's a big discount, though sometimes Echelon tends to exaggerate how much the original price is because they never really sell it at the original price. It's always on sale. But it is a bigger discount than I've seen in the past. The treadmill, however, isn't the greatest. In fact, I really don't like it too much, but it is the best treadmill that Echelon makes. So if you're an Echelon fan, then this is really the best deal that you can get on this. And because the discount is so much more than I've seen in the past, I'm going to put it in a B category, even though I don't like the treadmill that too much itself, but the discount is pretty significant. Then we have the Echelon EX8S bike, which is their top of the line connected fitness bike, sort of again like Peloton or the NordicTrack. There's not too many gimmicks with this one. It is a surprisingly really nice bike. It has a really cool curved 4K screen that can flip over. It lights up and changes colors. It's really cool. And it feels great to ride. The problem sometimes with Echelon is that the classes are kind of a hit and a miss. Some of the classes are pretty good, but there's a lot of them that are not. And so it can be hard to find, kind of the diamonds among the rough. This one is, they say $800. Well, they say it's like $1,400 off. It's more like $600 to $800 off at $1,699, which again is a very good deal. It's a good bike. If you like Echelon, I highly suggest it, especially at that price. It's very good. So we'll put that in the B category. And then we have the Echelon Stair Climber Sport. Now this is brand new. It's like a portable stair climber. It's only like 100 pounds and it's stackable against the wall. You can move it around. It doesn't take up much space. It looks really interesting. It doesn't have a screen, so you can use your own iPad or phone, and I like when they don't have a screen because it makes the devices cheaper and I think more future-proof. I haven't tested this out. I actually just had it delivered yesterday in the box, so I still have to put it together, but I wanted to review it because it actually looks pretty cool, especially for the price. It only costs $599, and that's because it's $200 off of their typical price for Black Friday. And at that price, it looks like a really good deal, though I haven't tested it to know, just how good it is. So I'm going to put this towards the top on the A category just because in terms of connected fitness equipment, you usually don't see stuff under $600. And this is a very intriguing and very space efficient device that I think is worth considering. Now, moving on to some more strength focused devices, we have Tonal. Tonal is $500 off. It's usually constantly $200 off, which makes it $3,495, but that doesn't include the accessories, so it's still going to cost around $4,000 for this. Tonal, if you've been following the channel or anytime I've talked about Tonal, I think it's a bit sketchy just because the company has so many issues. It's so expensive. The monthly membership is like $60 per month, and you can't really do much with the equipment if you don't keep that membership, unlike some of the other alternatives. So it's not one that I suggest all the time unless it was a really good deal, and this really isn't that good of a deal. So I'm going to put it in the D category. The Vitruvian is similar to Tonal, but it's not on the wall. It's on the ground, and it can support up to a lot more weight, so you can lift up to 400 pounds with it. It's easily one of my favorite strength devices that I have. I use it all of the time. Unfortunately, Vitruvian Trainer itself is not on sale, but the Pro Kit, like all the extra accessories, like the incline bench, the barbell, all the extra accessories that they came out with, that's 50% off. So I think typically it's like $550 and it's like $275 or something. And so if you want to give it a Vitruvian, this is a good time because you're going to get a big discount on that. It's not a huge discount, but to tell you the truth, Vitruvian has never have discounts ever. I think this is the only discount they've had this entire year. So because it's so rare of a discount, because I like the equipment so much, I'm going to put it in the A category. Now, Speediance. Speediance has two devices. They have the home gym or the monster gym, which is sort of like Tonal, but it's not against the wall. You know, it folds out. It has a little screen that you can lift up to 200 pounds with. It's really nice. And one of the benefits of Speediance is that you don't really have to pay for a membership. At least for now, it still comes with a lifetime membership with it, which is really nice because sometimes you don't want to be stuck paying these monthly subscriptions. They can add up. It costs $2,294, so $400 off. So it's a pretty good discount. It's not always discounted that often to this price. It's good. I would definitely put it at least in the B category and maybe the A category. The Speediance Gym Pal is very similar. It's also loads up to 200 pounds. It's super portable and small. I really like this device. It's extremely, it fits for a lot of people. You can put it on your coffee table. It's so small. It also has $400 off. So it's $1,599, which is by far the cheapest strength device that's like this. And so I would put that in the A category because that is a very good price for it. I know that was the price it was when it came off, but I don't see them lowering it to that price too often because that's a very low price for this type of device. Moving on to Tempo. Tempo has the Tempo Studio and the Tempo Move. The Tempo Studio is the big like A-frame, big screen. You can follow along to it. What's nice about Tempo is, you know, it comes with weights that tracks for you and you can follow along to it. It counts your reps and all that. So it's a really nice product. I like the Tempo Studio. I like the classes. I like the membership. I think it's pretty underrated in terms of, you know, home fitness tech. And it's got a pretty good sale as well. So Tempo Studio plus a 12-month membership. So it comes with a 12-month membership with this discount. It costs $1,915. So that's about a $1,000 discount. And I like that they include that 12-month membership as part of the price because it's more honest about like what these devices will cost you over a year time. And so because the discount is so big and because the device is really good, I would put it under the S category. I don't see it going to this price all that often. The Tempo Move is very similar, but it uses an iPhone that you put onto it instead of having this big screen. And because of that, it's a lot cheaper and smaller and looks really nice. The Tempo Move plus 12-month membership cost $815, which is only a $100 discount. This one isn't the best deal. Just even though I like the equipment, it's just not a big discount for what it is. So I'm probably going to put it in the D category just because it's not a huge discount, but I do like the product. Then we have the Schwinn Fitness Indoor Cycling Exercise Bike. So this one is $400 off. It's $799. And the reason I included this bike is it's one of the best indoor cycling bikes you can get, and it costs much less than all of the others. The biggest downside, of course, is it's not a connected fitness device, meaning you're not going to be, you know, attached to a Peloton class or a NordicTrack class. But as I've discussed before, that has a lot of benefits to it as well because you can attach your iPad, you could set up a TV nearby, wear a headset, whatever you want, and you could take any kind of classes that you want or watch Netflix or whatever you want to do with it, and you're not really locked into those monthly subscriptions. And because it's such a nice bike and it's a $400 discount, I'm putting this in the S category. I think it's a very, very good deal for what it is and something I think many people should consider if they're looking for an indoor cycling bike. Now, moving on, we have Bowflex Select Tech 840 Kettlebell. I have one of these. This is 40% off at $119. These go on sale all the time for about similar price, so it's not as big of a deal for this deal as it seems, but it's still a very good price for what it is. Like, you're not going to find adjustable kettlebells at this price besides this. And so, is it a good kettlebell? It's okay. The grip is a little slippery and small. It's not the best if you want to do like kettlebell cleans or snatches, but if you just want just a basic kettlebell that goes up to like 45 pounds, I think, then I think, it's definitely a good one, especially if you don't want to have a whole collection of kettlebells. You just want one that is adjustable like this. So I'm gonna put this in the C category only because it's discounted to that price very frequently. The Bowflex Select Tech 552 adjustable kettlebells are $110 off, so they're $300 total. They adjust up to 55 pounds each, and they're kind of similar to the Bowflex kettlebell. They're not the best, but they're certainly not bad. And at $300 price, I think it's a pretty good discount, though they are discounted fairly regularly. So let's put that into the C category. Finally, from Bowflex, we have the VeloCore 22 bike. So it has a 22-inch screen. You can connect to their classes, watch Netflix with it. The gimmick sort of with the VeloCore is that you can rotate side to side if you unlock it, and it provides a good extra sort of stimulus for your core and upper body grip. And I do think it's fun. I don't know if it's something that I would consider being better than like a Peloton or a NordicTrack bike, but if you really like that side-to-side action, then it's worth considering. And it costs $1,699, so $500 off. And that is a price that I don't see too often with it. It goes on sale occasionally, but usually once or twice a year. And that's a pretty good price, I think, for what it is. I'm going to put this one in the B category. Moving on to wearables, we have Whoop, the Whoop 4.0. Now, the Whoop is, I'm wearing it right now. It's probably the only device I wear all of the time. It's probably my favorite device that I wear, just because, and I'll talk about some of the differences between all these wearables, but depending on what you want out of your wearable, if you want a wearable to track like your fitness and your recovery, well, then you want something that can record your HRV or heart rate variability and what's associated with that. And Whoop does probably the best job in terms of tracking your heart rate variability, just because the way they do it is more based, I don't want to go too deep into this, but they do it in a way that I feel is more accurately and is better and more usable data for you to make decisions on a day-to-day basis compared to some of the others. Not everybody's going to like it because it is sort of expensive. You have to pay a membership for it instead of buying it outright. But, I think it's worth it, and it's definitely my favorite. It costs $199 for 1 year, which is the Black Friday deal going on. And that is a 17% discount off what it normally is. So the discount isn't that great. It's okay. It's a great device, though. I'm going to put it into the B category for that reason. Now, the Oura Ring, or Oura Ring, is similar, but it's a ring, of course. And it's also very accurate in a lot of ways, especially for sleep tracking. HRV, it's okay. It's $30 off, so it's $269. It's not a very good deal or discount. It's about 10% off. So we'll put it into the C category. Then we have the Super Ultrahuman Ring AIR. And this is just like the Oura Ring. I tested it. I like it a lot. It's very accurate. And the benefit of the Ultrahuman Ring AIR is that you don't have to pay a month-to-month subscription like you do with the Oura Ring or the Whoop. You just buy it and you own it and you get all your data. And is it as nicely presented as some of the others? No, but it is really good, and it's getting better all the time with their UI updates and everything like that. It cost $299, so it's $50 off. And I haven't seen it at that price too often, besides when it was first, coming to the market. So I'm going to put that one kind of in the B category as well. It's a good discount. It's not amazing, but it's definitely worth considering. Moving on to the Apple Watch. So I'm going to cover some of the different Apple Watches here. Any Apple Watch is certainly worth a consideration if you want a smart watch as well as a sports watch, just because of the capabilities they have with calling and texting and any kind of applications that you might have if you're an Apple fan. That said, also tracks heart rate really well and all of that. One problem, though, to be aware of with Apple Watches, whether you get the regular one or the Ultra, is they are the worst watch or sports watch by far when it comes to tracking recovery and HRV. It's very difficult. You have to do it manually in order to get any reasonable data that's accurate. It's capable of taking accurate data, but they don't really have that as an option, I think, in order to save battery, because the battery on them is not that great. So if you really care about tracking recovery in HRV, then that's unfortunately Apple's biggest weak spot. If that's not a problem for you, then they're really amazing watches to have. So the Apple Watch 9, which is the newest model, is $50 off. So it's $349. I think that's a good deal. Hasn't been discounted like this to that level before. So we'll put that in the B category. Then we have the Apple Watch Ultra. Now the Apple Watch Ultra is $549, which is $50 off the most recent price, which was previously like $800. So that at $550, this is a really amazing watch. And I think that's a really, really good price for it. I would put this into the A category. If HRV isn't that big of a deal for you, then you can't get much better than the Ultra, Apple Watch Ultra. There's also the Apple Watch Ultra 2, which is the more recent version, but there's really no differences for the most part between the two. I mean, there's some, but they're not that significant. One of which is a brighter screen, but the screen's already really bright. It's $749, so also $50 off, but it's $200 more than the previous generation, which is like essentially the same watch. So I'd put it in the D category, just because there's no way I would ever suggest it over the original, unless you just really want a super bright screen. Now we also have the Apple Watch SE, and this is an underrated watch. This is one of the best fitness watches for its price. So it costs $179 only right now, so $70 off. So significantly cheaper than almost any other sports watch out there. And it's super accurate. It's super good. It's not as top of the line as maybe the new Apple Watch, but for most people's purposes, it's an extremely good and accurate watch. And it's $70 off, which is not something you always see from Apple. It is not super brand new, but I would definitely put it in the A category as something that I would consider for a lot of people. Moving on, if you're more of a runner or a cyclist and you want a little bit more in-depth data around your workouts, then Garmin is going to be a much better pick than Apple. The HRV data for Garmin isn't as good as Whoop, but it's certainly much better than Apple as well. Their new Fenix 7 Pro is $200 off, which is a very good price. These watches have these amazing flashlights on top of them, which it sounds stupid to say that's worth it, but it's like something that I use all the time with these watches. They're really amazing. $200 off is a great price. I'm going to put it in the A category. Then we have the Garmin Epix. So Garmin just came up with the Epix Pro. This is the original Epix, but it's still an amazing watch. It's typically like $800, and now it's discounted $350 off to $449. Like, that is probably one of the best deals for a sports watch this entire Black Friday. It easily goes into the S category. It's got a great display, great battery life, super accurate. Like, there's not much better than the Garmin Epix, and that is an extremely good price. The only watch that's better than the Garmin Epix really is the Garmin Epix Pro, but then that is $200 off at $599, which is still an extremely good price. And it comes with like that flashlight, which I was talking about, which I really like. But it's not like as good a deal as the original. So I would still, for most people, I'd still suggest just the Garmin Epix and not the Epix Pro. Still a really good deal and goes into the A category. A lot of the Garmin's discounts right now are in the A category because they're all like $200 or $300 off. Then the Garmin Forerunner 255, also really nice watch for most people, not as rugged as some of the more expensive watches, but certainly very accurate and looks very slick, weighs almost nothing, and feels very comfortable to wear. It's $100 off at $299. $100 off isn't as nice as some of the other big ones. So we'll put it in it's such a good price though. I'll put it in the B category, but it's like near the top of the B because it's so good. And then we have, moving on to some of the others, like Fitbit's new Charge 6. So if you're looking for more just like a basic fitness tracker to track your steps or your movement and some basic workout functionality, it's good. It's discounted a lot too for something that was just released. It's only $99, which is $60 off its typical price. And if you just want to track some basic stuff and have a really simple, easy, clear device that's easy to use, it's certainly worth considering. If you want anything more in depth, maybe not, but it's a big discount for something that just got released. And so I'll put it in the A category just because under $100 is a really good deal for what it is. The Fitbit Sense 2 isn't quite as new. It's $249, which is $50 off. And that isn't as good of a discount. And the watch doesn't have that much more capabilities than some of the others. And I have some issues with this watch. I'm going to put it in the D category just because it's not brand new. It's also not a big discount. You see this price all the time. I don't think it's really worth considering for this Black Friday. Google Pixel Watch, not a watch I really like too much for fitness, just because it's so delicate and it's kind of basic for what it provides, especially given the price, which it typically is. However, it is $100 off since the new one got released, and so it only costs $250, and that's a good discount. The new watch, though, I hear is much better, so you have to consider that. And there are probably a lot of other options that are around $250 that might be better for fitness. But if you really love the style, I could see it. So we could put it in the C category. And then we have the Polar has some watches. One of them is the brand new Polar Ignite 3. And this is a great watch. And it's $70 off, so it's $250. And $7 off is pretty good. I'm going to put it in the B category. One note about Polar's watches, which I think they're highly underrated, is they're very similar to Whoop in how they track your recovery and heart rate variability. So if I was to choose like a device that I would follow for heart rate variability, then I would either choose Whoop, or I would choose a Polar watch, or I would do it manually in the mornings. So if you're not doing it manually in the mornings, those would be the two that I would choose if you care about that sort of thing, being able to impact your day-to-day decisions around your recovery. But I don't want to go into more on that. So now let's talk about recovery. So there are some recovery devices on sale from Hyperice and Therabody and others. So the Hyperice has Normatec, which is compression technology, which is super nice for recovery. They have what's called the Normatec Go, which is a very portable device that you put around your calves, and it pumps your calves, pumps the blood in and out of them. And these are amazing. If you're a runner, these are incredible. They're not as good as like the Normatec, the big boots that we're going to talk about in a second, but they're so much more portable and easy to use that you're probably going to be using them way more often. And they're also not very expensive. So they cost right now $315, which is $80 off. I think it's a good deal. I don't think it's amazing, but it's a good deal, and I really like it, so it's going to go into B. The Normatec 3, these are the boots. These are $100 off. I really like these as well. $100 off for that price point. We see it fairly often, though. I'm going to put it in the C. It could go either way, though. And then we have the Hypervolt 2 Pro. So these are massage guns. This is the best massage gun from Hyperice. They also came out with a heated head attachment for these, which is amazing. I think it costs like an extra $40 or $50. But this is on sale for $70 off as well. It's $259. And I haven't seen this price for a while, so I'll put it in the B category. I really like this massage gun. They also have the regular Hypervolt 2 for $40 off, $149. It's not as good, and the discount isn't as good either, so I'm going to put it in the C category. And then the Hypervolt Go 2, this is $30 off, so it's $99. This isn't going to be very effective if you have a lot of muscle that you want to push through. It doesn't really have a lot to it, but it is a great starter one. It looks great. It's super cheap, and it's a nice gift. If you know somebody who's into fitness, doesn't have a massage gun, they would probably appreciate it. So I'll put it in the C category as well at $30 off. Then we have Theragun for their massage guns. Their Pro 5th Gen is $100 off at $499. They just released their brand new version like a few months ago of this, which is even better, for $599. So Yeah, it's a good price for this, but also I think this is its permanent price now. I don't think it's actually a discount. So I think you can get it at $4.99 anytime. So I'll put it in the D category just because I think it's always going to be on sale. It's like you don't have to rush for it if you don't want to. Similar for the Theragun Prime, it's $110 off, $289. That's actually a better deal, and this is still the brand new version of it. They did release a new line of them, but I would put this in the C category. It's a good deal at $110 off. Their Mini cost $149, $50 off. Again, I put that in the C category. It's a good deal for what it is and a great gift as well. Okay, then we have the Therabody Recovery Air Jet Boots. So this is kind of like the Normatec compression boots. These ones are kind of cool because they don't require like a console device for them to be hooked up to. They just work on their own, so they're a bit more portable. They're $50 off, so $749. Not a great discount, but really cool device, so I'll put it in C. And then the Recovery Air Prime boots are $50 off as well. And these ones do have to be connected to a console. That's the main difference. It's a fine discount, and they're good boots, but it's nothing special for that price. Then we have the Ice Barrel 300. So this is like for ice tubs. Now, one of the problems about Ice Barrel is that you have to use your own ice to keep it cold, and the cold only lasts a few days. So compared to some other cold tubs that can stay cold when like hooked up, a lot of people prefer those compared to when you always have to fill with ice. That said, the brand new Ice Barrel 300, I really like it, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a lot of reasons I like it, but one is they've set it up so that it can be hooked up to a cooler, and that cooler for it, I know is going to be coming out next year. And so if you consider that, it's going to be an automatically cooled tub, and this tub right now, it costs $949, so $250 off, and you might be like, oh, that's $1,000 tub that does not even hooked up. But if you consider that adding the cooler is going to be like an extra like $1,500 or so, it's going to make this Ice Barrel cold tub, the total price for it's going to end up being like under $3,000 compared to like the plunge, which we'll talk about in a minute, which is like $5,000 to $8,000. So I think right now a lot of people don't appreciate like just how nice the Ice Barrel value is because they don't know that that cooler attachment is coming with this new version. So I would look into this because I think it's a really nice deal, though you may want to wait until the cooler comes if that's something that's really important to you. $250 off is a good deal, though. So I'm going to put it into the A category. And then the plunge doesn't really have too much of a discount, but they do give you a free 6-month maintenance pack with this Black Friday deal. So it's about $190 off. But it's like $190 off of like a $5,000 to $8,000 purchase. So like I love the plunge. I have a plunge and I use it all the time, but this just isn't that great of a discount. Final two I wanted to talk about are two things that I use for running that I think are super like cool and they're on sale. One is the Nix Biosensor. So what this does is you slap it on your shoulder and it tracks your hydration levels. So it can tell you like how much you're sweating, what's the percentage of like electrolytes you're losing. And so you can wear these on runs occasionally to get an assessment of like how much you personally need to drink or what type of electrolyte formula would be best for you, which is super useful for if you're a longer distance runner. And their current discount is buy one, get one free, which means this is a great gift. I think it costs like $100 to $150 or something. So if you want a really nice gift for a few runners, or if you want to get one for yourself and one for a friend, then these are amazing. I would highly suggest this deal. I haven't seen them discounted like this ever. So I'm gonna put that in I'm gonna put it in the S territory because it's like buy one, get one free. It's like, it's a very good deal for what it is and a great present. Stryd is a power running meter you can put on your shoes. And yeah, I know a lot of watches track your power as well, but I prefer this over them. One, because I review a lot of watches, so it's nice to have one consistent thing I can always wear regardless of what watch I have. But outside of that, I also just like what they do with the data and how they present it to you, and how it makes it easier to use that power data to create power-driven workouts and track it and your improvements and all that. It's really, really nice ecosystem that they have. It costs $150 if you commit to a year membership, which is like $9 a month. But I think they're having a 15% off deal for Black Friday, and they don't really typically have deals. So it's definitely worth considering, and I just love it so much that I'm going to put it. The deal's not great, so I'll put it in the C category, but it's certainly worth considering. Now, if you know any deals that I've missed or that you think other people would want to share, make sure to post them to comments. Appreciate you being here as always. This is Colin with Connect the Watts, and I'll see you next time.